right. Welcome. Today, we'll be going over what's new in the Jetpack XR SDK for XR immersive experiences. I'm Stevan Silva. I'm joined by multiple folks, including Dereck, Bridié, who's our developer relations engineer on all things Android XR, as well as Jordan, who's our software engineer working on Android XR, and last but not least, Kyuhun, Jung, who's a director of software platform engineering over at Samsung. So last year, we released the first developer preview of the Android XR SDK, containing our first iteration of our vision of what Android should look and feel like in the new spatial dimension. Our mission was, and still is, to make it easy for you to develop apps using familiar frameworks. Android XR provides that unified platform to power both immersive and augmented experiences across a spectrum of extended reality devices. We launched with support for great modular layouts with Jetpack Compose for XR and spatial adaptations through material design for XR. AR Core for Jetpack XR brings access to perception services as well. And Jetpack Scene Core provides a powerful scene graph and spatial components. Guided by close interaction with all of you, our developers, we released Developer Preview 2 at Google I/O this year. And I'm sure you all heard of Android XR device that hit the market in October. All of you most likely launched experiences on that device, and we thank all of you. Let's give you guys a round of applause. Yeah, right. I'm talking about. There you go. Get that energy in. Love it. The device launched with a rich catalog of over 50 apps. I think now we're at over 100 apps, actually. So amazing work with the Android XR SDK and a whole list of existing 2D apps as well. Amazing developers created new apps for the platform. For example, Adobe, who's here, developed their new immersive video editing app, Project Pulsar. It provides, makes cinematic video editing easy. You can basically add 3D depth, layer captions or icons behind subjects on larger-than-life canvas. They also brought developers, all of you brought your existing experiences breathing new life into their app. The team at Calm was able to use their existing Jetpack Compose experience on mobile app and basically extend that to XR. And you reuse a lot of the existing code base, including the backend, media playback, and other core components, which dramatically cut down on the initial work. Today, we're excited to announce Developer Preview 3. Woo, there we go. Nice. Love it. With Developer Preview 3, we're expanding support for immersive experiences, including XR glasses, like Project Aura. We are also enabling a whole new category of augmented experiences that run on AI glasses and display AI glasses, which we talked about as well. And to help you support these devices, we're rolling out new capabilities and new tools like Android emulators. So if you go to right now and download the latest Android emulator, you'll see XR glasses and AI glasses available for you to start developing on. In this session, we'll go over a few things. We'll go over new features that make your app stand out in XR for immersive experiences, all of which you can use today. We'll go through each of the components of the Jetpack XR SDK, so Jetpack Scene Core, Compose for Jetpack XR, AR Core for Jetpack XR, and finally go over how you can learn more. I'm going to hand it over to Kyuhun Jung, who will get us started with all the latest and greatest in Jetpack Scene Core. All right, Kyuhun.
Thank you, Stevan. Hello, everybody. I'm Kyuhun Jung, principal engineer working on Jetpack Scene Core and rendering at Samsung. Today, I will go over what's new in Jetpack Scene Core. Just to recap, the Jetpack Scene Core library helps you create 3D scene graph that contain entities like panels and GLTF models. It's like a layout hierarchy, but in 3D. It has familiar concept like parent-child relationships. You can load GLTF models and display them in XR using a GLTF model entity. You can now load GLTF models from a remote URI, then create GLTF model entity and add it to the scene. We've added the ability to create new material and apply them to your models. This led to change properties like base colors, metallicness, and roughness. This is a video recording of the Hello Android XR sample app, which has been updated to let you move this model around and modify its materials. Surface Entity has had some updates too. Surface Entity is a canvas that can show different images to the left and right viewpoints. This canvas can optionally be worked into shapes like spheres and hemispheres. We've added support for displaying protected media through DRM. Also, move and resize event will now work on surface entities. There's much more that you can do with Syncor, so be sure to try the APIs yourself and let us know if you have any feedback. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jordan to share more about Jetpack Compose for XR.
Thanks, Kyuhun. I'm Jordan Saleh, a software engineer working on Jetpack XR. Let's go over what's new in Jetpack Compose for XR. For some background, Jetpack Compose is Android's recommended modern toolkit for building native UI. It simplifies and accelerates UI development on Android. Jetpack Compose for XR does not replace, but builds on the existing Jetpack Compose libraries. This enables you to create UI that goes beyond the screen and expand into the third dimension. You can seamlessly bring existing composables to XR and also use new spatialized components. As we're introducing more Android XR devices, just like how Android phones have different screen sizes and aspect ratios, not all XR devices will have the same field of view. To help your app navigate this, we've added an API to get the recommended content viewing box, which is the field of view that a user can comfortably see without needing to move their gaze. Your layout can now automatically grow to fit fractions of the user's recommended content box, letting your layout fit in the user's view across different types of devices. If you, however, have content that you want to make sure is always visible, we have added a component that lets you dynamically follow the user's field of view as they move around. You can attach components either to the head or the user, and a lazy following behavior is included that helps prevent motion sickness that comes with head-locked experiences. For even greater integration, you can attach spatialized components to real-world anchors with anchored subspace. This makes it easy to attach compose elements to world lock anchors obtained through Scene Core and AR Core. This way, you can attach your UI to objects such as a wall or a table. Additionally, we've added support for transitions in the spatial context, including both sliding and fading in and out. Spatialized components like panels can now naturally enter and exit your spatial layout, creating a fluid design language for your app. Spatial arrangements make it straightforward to create consistently spaced spatial layouts, with different spacing options to choose from. If you're using Compose Adaptive Layout components from the Material Design Library, your app might already receive some XR affordances. Including the Material Design for XR library and enabling XR component overrides will upgrade compatible components into their XR counterparts. We're continuing to add new components that have spatial adaptations. For example, in full space, dialogues can be elevated spatially via XR component overrides. This helps dialogues stand out from their background in XR. Navigation bars in XR support Material 3 expressive. These navigation bars will pop out of a panel in an orbiter following platform guidelines for great spatial interfaces. And finally, we've introduced a component that consolidates common behavior between full space and home space. This component has recommended defaults for icons and behaviors, making it easier than ever to implement spatialized application. And now, I'll bring up Dereck to talk about AR Core.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Dereck Bridié. I'm a developer relations engineer working on Android XR and in specific AR Core. AR Core is really close to my heart. I've been working on it for a really long time now, so I'm really proud to share what's going on and what's new in AR Core for Jetpack XR. To recap real quick, AirCore for Jetpack XR gives your app access to the device's understanding of the real world around it, after you request all the appropriate permissions, of course. We've been hard at work adding more perception capabilities and tracking capabilities to AirCore for Jetpack XR. First one I want to talk about is object tracking. Object tracking helps your app understand the position and rotation and size of different types of objects. Current supported objects are keyboards, computer mice, and laptops. And these components can help your users locate their interface devices in apps focused around productivity. We've also added the ability to query for facial expressions. Facial expressions consist of 68 different blend shape values, where each value describes how much of a specific part of the face is contorted in a given dimension. For example, there's a blend shape for how far your jaw is dropped and for how much each of your eyebrows are raised. It's pretty good for creating your own virtual avatars or letting your app respond to facial gestures. And speaking of virtual avatars, we've also introduced eye tracking that provides rotation values for the user's detected eyes on supported devices. This can help you create virtual content that responds to the movement of your user's eyes. Depth estimation helps your app understand how close objects are to the user and to each of the cameras. This can be useful for positioning complex UI elements, such as a virtual entity moving through a piece of furniture. That might be a little bit shocking for users, and they would want the app to understand and how to dodge these virtual or these real objects. Depth maps allow apps to understand the 3D and geometry of the room in real time. AirCore for Jetpack XR has also added the ability to query for current device information, such as the position and rotation of the current device. There's also field view information as well, which will help support the new devices that will come on the market. This device information can also help you understand where points in 3D space will be given a flat image. And finally, I'm happy to share that the latest version of AirCore for Jetpack XR also works on 1 billion mobile devices worldwide, leveraging our existing technologies on smartphones using a shared API surface. This preview is our new idiomatic Kotlin approach to our new multi-form factor augmented reality library, helping you explore Jetpack XR with your mobile phone. Pass it back to Stevan again. Thank you.
Thanks, Dereck. All right, that's quite a list of new features available with Developer Preview 3 on Jetpack XR SDK. And again, proud to share that all of this is available starting today. As mentioned, Android XR launched with over 50 XR differentiated apps, and we're at over 100 already today. And we're looking forward to seeing your immersive experiences on Google Play soon. All right, thanks. And then visit the Android site to learn about everything we've presented today and more. And you'll find instructions on how to try your app on the new emulators today. And we also held a XR Spotlight Week, Android XR Spotlight Week, filled with a bunch of content when Galaxy XR was launched. So check out our samples and code labs too. Even though we're at the 3rd developer preview already, this is just the beginning of the Jetpack XR SDK. Your feedback and feature requests and bug reports will help us shape the future of spatial APIs on the platform. So we want to hear from you. And we've already incorporated a lot of your feedback already. So really, really appreciate it. So visit the XR support pages to find out how you can report issues and for anything XR related. And then on behalf of the Android XR teams, thank you for letting us share all the latest and greatest on the Jetpack XR SDKs. So yeah, thanks everyone.